We'll talk about that later. It was a packed night full of action on Saturday, and one of our judges always revels in such situations. He may be the judge with a grudge, but we love him anyway.
Fab, you left!
Oh, come on! He's back!
Darling! Let me enter the space.
You glide into action. Yeah, do you like them?
I've just seen these wonderful pillows.
Oh,
I might have them for my new
beautiful.
home in Hampshire, darling.
Oh, your new home in Hampshire. Someone's being paid too much. Welcome back. We have missed your acerbic wit on this show. Thank goodness you're here. We must press on. Much to discuss. Let's start with Simon and Christina and their tango. Now, this I thought was brilliant. You did say, however, that you thought perhaps he was leaning forward a little bit and was a spot out of time. Darcy disagreed. Tell me more about what you thought.
Yes, I just thought that I'm expecting a lot more, I think, from him. I think that is the initial sort of scenario here.
He set the standard quite high, didn't he, with his dive?
So he's a fantastic dancer, and so I'm expecting a lot more from him. And when he went into his pivot turns, I just thought that his weight was just too far forward.
Where should your weight be in a pivot turn, then?
It should be
sort of leaning back?
On centre, darling, on centre.
Tricky. It's only week 2. Alison and Aliash and their foxtrot. I like the way you're so harsh. Now, you did say Alison's hip action caused a sonic boom. She is such a delight to watch on the floor. I love her.
A complete and absolute joy, and she did. I mean, those hips can swing, darling. You know, she's absolutely amazing how she can just glide around the floor like that. And, of course, you know, when she's out of hold, she's completely and absolutely and totally on it. I have every confidence in her.
I know, she just owns the place, doesn't she? She's such good acting as well. Mark and Karen and their American Smooth. Now, this is your second disagreement of the evening. Bruno thought Mark's arms were perfect. You disagreed, said they were flying around all over the place.
Yes, well, this
they look good there,
yes, but this is the part that they're good.
Okay.
The rest of it is when he takes his arm out into what I call a second position. He doesn't extend through the body. He doesn't use his body at all. So I think it then makes his arms look a bit sort of plastic and fake.
Well, sort of like he's placed them, so he needs to dance through it.
Dance through, go all the way through the movement.
He's getting better, though.
But I do like
him.
I like him. I think this year is spectacular. I'm absolutely loving everyone on the show.
I'm so confused. They're all so brilliant. Right, Pixie and Trent. Beautiful waltz, proper gasp moment in Saturday's show. What is so good about Pixie's dancing?
What's so good about Pixie is she has control, and you don't see the effort in the dance. Because that's a very difficult dance, and what she did with the Grand Rond de Jambes, you know, at the beginning.
Can you just say it one more time?
Grand Rond de Jambes.
Grand Rond de Jambes.
Yes,
I have no idea what that means.
It's all very French. It's a bang kick, you know. Basically, yeah. But,
that's its other term.
Yes, but she's fantastic and so beautiful to watch. You feel at ease when you watch her, and you get taken away and you stop looking technically.
Because you're just enjoying the dance. That must be a good thing. Steve and Ola, one of your lowest scores of the night, only a 3, Yamini. You did say it was like being a terrible disco in Soho. I've been there. I love that place.
So have I, darling.
I know, I've seen you there.
But I think you need to be slightly drunk to enjoy it.
He's putting the hours in, though. Can he get better than
Yes,
that,
he
Steve?
can. And actually, he's very, very good. But I don't think that particular dance suited him. I think if he had done that in week 5, he would have had the right and correct hip action, and he wouldn't have been just doing heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, and sort of stomping around, you know. And that's why, you know, I guess it was between, for me, a 3 and a 4, but we don't have a point system. It would have been a 3.5 if I had a point system, but I tend to go to the lower end of the barrel.
Always the lower. It's good to have somewhere to go, though.
Right.
Jennifer and Tristan in their waltz. You had quite a few comments about Jennifer. You said there was gapping her arms, needed to sort it out, but she was looking at the floor a little bit much. These easy things, and was it better than week before?
Yes, it was, because she was concentrated, and she was concentrated specifically on her posture, which I think, you know, is the best thing to do at this point in the competition. And when she danced it again, of course, it was so much better. And she didn't muck up the middle bit, and actually, you know, I was hoping that her eyes would flutter up, darling, to the audience, but I think she just gets terrified and looks at the floor and hopes that's going to help.
I know how many things there are to remember. That you remember your feet, your posture rise. It will come, I think. Scott and Joanne, you gave Scott a 4. It was up from last week's 2, so that is great. He's going in in the right direction. What does he need to do for you to move up that leaderboard?
Well, stop pursing his lips, number one. And number two...
Oh, it's his tango face.
Yes, but it just looked like it had been photoshopped on there, didn't it, darling? But he needs to, I think, just loosen up a little bit, you know, and feel the music more with his whole body. I think he's so terrified that it really just comes out as placement, 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 and he's not putting any thought into the artistry of dance.
OK, very quickly, Tom and Yvette, you gave him a 5. You said his arms were a bit messy and his lift was ill-prepared. The thing is, we've seen them practice that and they got it perfectly right. It was just a bit unfortunate, that little slip there.
Yes, it was, and the tumble and crash to the ground of
It
your partner.
wasn't a crash.
Well, hello, she ended up in a screaming heap on the floor, so what would you call that, darling? A train wreck, I'd call it, but...
It was not.
And there was no saving that, sadly.
Okay.
But he did get up into the lift, but they weren't on centre, and he didn't lock out enough, and then her hips slightly wobbled in, and then it all went a little bit, you know, spare.
We will talk more in a little bit with part dirt from Craig. Craig Revel Horwood! Now it's time to see what Craggles made of the rest of Saturday night's dances.
Amazing!
Isn't that good? We have spared no expense for you, my darling. A double helping of Revel H. What more could we want?
Gorgeous.
Let's crack on. Sinetra and Brendan, who were just here with their cha-cha-cha, and you loved her hip rotation, so it was good.
Yes.
But you said she just needed to work on the straightness of the leg.
Yes.
Tell me more about
well,
that.
in this particular dance and rumba, of course, you have to go on a straight leg, and that creates actually the proper hip action. And this, when the knees are bent like hers throughout, it becomes more of a salsa-looking party dance.
OK.
That's the only thing. But, I mean, yeah, she's a fantastic dancer. I mean, she's really great. She's a complete and absolute natural. These are very small points, and I can't believe I'm actually bringing them up in week 2. But I think that in itself says it all.
It says how good they all are this year. Let's talk about Jake and Jeanette. It was so awesome, this dance. Look at him go. How good was Mr. Wood? You gave him an 8. You said he could crack coconuts with his hips. Do you think we have a Strictly star in the making there? He's just incredible. How's he going to follow that?
Well, he's so unlikely a character to be doing these sort of dances. And those lifts, I've got to say, are so advanced. I mean, you can really seriously harm your partner if you
mess that up.
Yeah, if you mess it up. And it's all about timing. And he had the courage to do them, and the courage to do it live on a Saturday night, I thought was spectacular. He has really shocked and surprised me.
I know, he's incredible. I can't wait to see him next week. Judy and Anton, you gave Judy the lowest score of the night with just a 2. You said her body was as tight as a newly strung racket. Have you got something nice to say about Judy's dance, please? She's trying very hard.
She has a lovely smile.
Is that it?
She really does. You know, she's beaming. It's just we want that particular beam to go through the entire body.
It does, and they are practising very hard. Anton said he's been teaching her very hard.
Yes, well, Anton, as we know, is, you know, a very good teacher, and hopefully he'll be able to do something a little bit more spectacular.
Come on, Judy.
Well, I did suggest, you know, in the green room, darling, that he throws some, you know, lifts in and floor sweeping activity.
Because
that might help.
OK, I love Judy. Right, Tim and Natalie and their waltz, which I really enjoyed this performance on Saturday. Last week, however, you said Tim looked like he was wearing a nappy.
Yes.
This week, you said he looked like he was going to use a B-day. I'm thinking B-day better than nappy.
Yes.
But he was much better here, wasn't he? It did suit them
Well, it's
so
an
much more.
improvement, yes, and I think that, you know, the ballroom stuff really suits him. I think he's going to be, when he's out on his own in the Latin, I think he's going to struggle. But he's really fantastic to watch, I thought, and a vast improvement, I thought, on the week before.
And
Thank goodness.
said they moved around the floor, they used the whole floor.
But he did that. It wasn't perfect, of course, but he did use the floor, and that is a great start.
Nice work, Tim. OK, Caroline and Pasha and their tango. I thought this was so skilled. I loved this performance. You gave Caroline a 7, one mark up from last week.
Yeah.
What does she need to do to get to the 8s and 9s with you, Craig?
Well, I think she just needs to sort her top line out a little bit more.
What's wrong with it? Because it looks so good.
Yes, but it wobbles around a little bit. You know, you can't be loose of back at all. you know, particularly in that dance.
But
I thought she was
moving her around so much, that must be quite hard.
Yes, but you have to move as one, you see, darling.
Okay.
And sometimes he moves and then she moves after the event rather than at the same time. But another example of a delicious dancer, and I cannot wait to see, you know, her improve, because it's going to be very exciting.
She's going to be so hot. Right, Frankie and Kevin, you gave them a 7, and you said it was a slightly odd mix between rock and roll and the Charleston. How challenging is that for the couples to mix two different dances and eras there?
Well, I was confused about it to begin with, and I thought, OK, well, it's a fusion dance, really. But I sort of, in the end, I've got to say, accepted it for what it is. And I know people, purists, were saying, oh, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. But I say, why not mix it up? Why not create a new dance?
Yeah.
Why not have a fusion like that? I thought she did it very, very well. You know, it's just the Charleston, I think, suffered at the hands of the jive section or the rock and roll stuff.
Very quickly, Greg and Aliona went out. Was that the right decision, do you think?
Well, yes, I think it was, but I was rather hoping they'd stay in so I could have a bit more fun with him about MasterChef, darling. So now I shan't, you know, but still, he took it in his stride and he gave it his all, and that's all, you know, commendable. So good on him.
Go, Greg. Thank you so much. It's lovely to see you back. Back next Monday. Yes, it's Craig Revel Horwood. Thank you, handsome. Don't steal those cushions. Now, South